if your world is like mine, you're spending a lot of time thinking each day about the impact of governmental changes, administration changes, and their impact on us as healthcare providers, us as humans, us as educators, us as researchers in the world of cancer care today. And we know there are dramatic events occurring every day that we're sort of figuring out what's the impact, how do we preserve what it is we want to do. So, for example, as little as 1 week ago, some of the fellows that matched in our area here in Washington, D.C., weren't sure that they were going to be able to start in July because their positions were those kinds of positions that were under the current hiring freeze that just was thrown out there. And it took until last Thursday for the leadership to realize that, we didn't mean them. They could come on and join in July. But those same fellows were given an option to say, well, if you don't believe that that's going to be there for very long, in which case I'm talking about the NCI, you can go and maybe get a job for some other place, but there aren't going to be other jobs, right? So these are people who their entire lives have dedicated to this prospect, have thought that they have just matched in what might be the most stable organization around the country, the National Cancer Institute, to only find out it might be one of the least stable. And I was reflecting, as many have been reflecting, on these just callous, huge government cuts that have been made just over the last week or so at the FDA. Some of the best minds there, gone. At the NCI, at the NIH, some of the best minds there, gone. Let's think about that a second. So the director of the Institute of Nursing Research, gone. The head of the National Institute of Minority Health and Health Disparities, gone. The director of the Institute of Child Health and Human Development, gone, along with many others, just on a dime, right? They're using a model of a game show, a TV evening show, where the answer is you're fired. So we just fire people because we don't like what shirt they're wearing or where they park their car or some stupid answer like that. And I know it's so disruptive to everybody figuring out what does tomorrow hold, when's somebody going to come and knock at your door, et cetera. So we are all in shock. As an academic institution, who's the next Columbia? Apparently, it might be Harvard. They're going after them. How do we work together as NCI designated cancer centers to make sure that the administration and the House, et cetera, understand the importance of our collaborative research and how we have contributed and will continue to contribute to the cures for cancer and other diseases. Now, the last piece of this is that, as we talked about before, don't worry, because Donald Trump and his administration is going to cure cancer. Now, if you believe that, then sit back and let all of this just go. Leave them in charge, let them do what they want to do, because don't worry, trust me, they're going to cure cancer in 4 years. My argument is that that's unlikely at best, right? The kind of investment, the kind of people that have been fired, the kind of things that are going on is going to reverse this process, if anything. And don't get me wrong, I would love to be wrong about this, but I don't think I am. And so how are we as a community, a medical healthcare community, how are we as a research community, are we as a drug development industry going to ensure that we keep the bar moving forward, that we provide care for our patients, that we innovate, and that we indeed do reach the same goal that our administration is seeking, and that is to cure cancer, but actually do it in as fast a timeline as we can. We're going to have to step out of our foxholes. We're going to have to look down the street, talk to each other, collaborate, scream out loud when it's important, stand up in front of Congress for 25 hours in a row and make sure they know that we're not happy with what's going on. The rest of the world is extremely unsettled. We are extremely unsettled. I think we should not just sit back and let it be. I think we should figure out how to work together, how to make larger voices push back and say, there are some things that you're doing that are just not right, and we want it fixed. John Marshall for Oncology Unscripted.